Essentially, a variable is a space in memory the computer uses to store information, like your YouTube username or a high score in a video game. You could imagine it as, let's say, a glass jar, which would represent the variable. And you could place some honey in there. That would be the value it would contain. And then, so you could find your honey later, you could add a label which would describe what's inside the jar. That would be the name of the variable. Getting the jar and adding a label is what programmers call declaring a variable. You're basically telling the compiler that you will need this jar. Placing the honey in the jar is what's considered assigning a value to a variable. It means storing something inside it. However, if we place the honey right after we get the jar, it's called initializing a variable, because when declaring it, we are also assigning its initial value as well. It's like a default value that's contained in the variable. If we don't place any honey in the jar when it's declared, then its initial value will be an empty jar in our case. Besides just storing something like honey, the variables are also great for situations where you need to reuse something. For example, you wouldn't want a program to ask someone for his name every time it needs it for a task. Chances are that it could ask you only a single time and then store it in a variable, and reuse it when there's a need. Another reason for using variables is to make things more readable. For example, you could have an equation which calculates the area of a circle, but if there are just plain numbers in the code, it may be difficult for someone to understand what's happening in there. So variables don't just save some work for the computer, but they also help out the programmer with figuring out what's happening. Here's a challenge for you in the comment section. Try to explain in a single sentence what is a variable in your opinion.